Good morning, I'm Kenneth Moten.
And I'm Janae Norman. Here are the top 5 things to know this Thursday. Number 1, Hurricane Dorian brought heavy wind and rain to the Virgin Islands. Thousands of power outages were reported, and President Trump has signed an emergency declaration, but no major damage was immediately reported. Most of Puerto Rico was spared, and now the storm is set to gain strength over the Atlantic.
Dorian is traveling east of the Bahamas. It's likely to grow into a Category 3 hurricane and could hit somewhere along the Florida coast late this weekend. People from Miami to Jacksonville are being placed on alert.
Number 2, the FBI is offering a $20,000 reward for the capture of 2 fugitive murder suspects.
Blaine and Susan Barksdale have been on the run since Monday when police say they overpowered 2 unarmed security guards in Utah.
The private guards were transporting the couple from New York back to Arizona, where they're accused of murdering a 72-year-old man they knew. His house was also set on fire. His body was never found and a motive hasn't been given. The suspects were last spotted in a red GMC pickup truck with Arizona plates.
On to number 3, authorities say they foiled a shooting plot in North Carolina.
Prosecutors say the freshman at High Point University, who's from Boston, had guns and ammunition in his dorm room and planned to shoot up the school.
They say he chose to attend the school because guns were easier to buy in North Carolina. Authorities say a classmate reported him.
Number 4, the Democratic presidential primary field is a bit smaller now that Kirsten Gillibrand is out of the race.
The senator from New York called it quits with a video posted online. Her campaign's top issues were curbing sexual harassment and defending abortion rights, but she struggled with fundraising.
Meanwhile, the lineup is set for the next Democratic presidential debate. The deadline for candidates to qualify passed at midnight.
10 candidates will be on stage September 12th in Houston, including frontrunners former Vice President Joe Biden, Senators Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders. The 10 candidates who did not meet polling and fundraising thresholds could still qualify for October's debate. And finally, number 5, a story of friendship and devotion taken to new heights. It's about 2 guys who were part of a special operations unit in the Marines.
John Nelson and Jonathan Blank served in Afghanistan, where Blank lost his legs in an explosion. Blank had wanted to climb a certain mountain in Utah since moving there 5 years ago.
Well, last weekend, Nelson carried him to the summit, a trek of more than 14 miles.
I got legs. I couldn't imagine if I thought this would be something epic for him to experience, to actually get to the, to the saddle.
And not only have I lived through this, he's lived through it as well. Like, we're also, special operations guys. We're force recon Marines, so we can do anything. We can maybe instill that mindset in other people.
And they're not done yet. Nelson and Blank are planning to climb California's Mount Whitney, more than 14,000 feet high on Veterans Day.
Incredible.
All right, good morning. Let's get right to that big story. State of emergency in Florida right now as the state braces for what could be a major hurricane this weekend.
At last check, Hurricane Dorian was packing winds of up to 85 miles per hour, but it's expected to gain strength over the warm waters of the Atlantic and grow into a Category 3 storm.
It already slammed the U.S. Virgin Islands, where crews will be out this morning assessing the damage. ABC's Mona Kosar Abdi begins our storm coverage.
This morning, people in Florida fueling up.
Stay safe.
Bottled waters flying off the shelves as emergency officials and forecasters sound the alarm.
All of Florida is in play. Everyone there needs to prepare.
Bottom line is that we have a very, very serious hurricane threat to the state of Florida.
Forecasters say Dorian could grow into a Category 3 hurricane by the time it reaches the Florida coast late this weekend. People from Jacksonville down to Miami taking no chances, buying generators, batteries, and flashlights.
We're from the island, so we are ready. We are not the last-minute people for a hurricane. We know about hurricanes, though.
I'm not that concerned, but I think it's better to be safe than sorry.
The state's governor has already declared a state of emergency. Local officials are warning residents, know your evacuation routes.
This is no time to panic. We don't know what will develop in the days ahead.
The U.S. Virgin Islands took a direct hit from Dorian as a Category 1 storm. New video shows winds up to 80 miles per hour, wreaking havoc on marinas and damaging buildings on St. Thomas and Tortola. Nearly 40,000 power outages reported.
There are still some assessments being done overnight on the islands of St. Thomas and St. John's. Road crews are working to clear the roadways.
And in Puerto Rico, heavy rains and strong winds, but a sigh of relief as the island was spared the brunt of the storm. But some tourists now leaving Puerto Rico are left to wonder whether they'll meet up with Dorian again on U.S. soil.
We're flying back on tomorrow, and hopefully it's not going to get on Monday to South Carolina.
And overnight, we've learned that President Trump approved an emergency declaration for the U.S. Virgin Islands. Now, officials there say they've seen worse storms in recent years, but Janae and Kenneth were expecting a better damage assessment later today.
All right, Mona, thank you so much. And there are new questions about FEMA's readiness to deal with Hurricane Dorian, given the agency now has a record number of vacancies.
Those vacancies include the top spot. FEMA is one of many Trump administration agencies operating with an acting head. But FEMA insists it's ready to respond, saying it already has more than 3,000 people in Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands.
Well, President Trump seemed to use Dorian's approach to Puerto Rico as a chance to renew a feud with the island's officials.
Trump tweeted, Puerto Rico is one of the most corrupt places on earth. Their political system is broken and their politicians are either incompetent or corrupt.
In a different tweet, the president also called himself the best thing that's ever happened to Puerto Rico. The president's feud with Puerto Rican leaders goes back to his visit there after Hurricane Maria, when he was criticized for tossing those paper towels into a crowd like basketballs.
The Trump administration has announced new citizenship rules for children of certain military members overseas. Under the new policy, citizenship will no longer be automatic for some children born abroad. The rule mostly affects children of non-citizens in the military who haven't lived in the U.S. for a required period of time. But the new rules have caused anger and confusion among immigration rights advocates and some military groups. People in these situations may have to apply for citizenship through the naturalization process. There is new evidence this morning that North Korea might be building a nuclear-capable submarine.
Authorities say the proof is found in these satellite images of a North Korean shipyard. They may soon be ready to test. Last month, leader Kim Jong-un was seen inspecting what was described as a newly built submarine. ABC's Brad Milkey is working that story. Brad, good morning.
Hey guys, yeah, it's worrisome enough to think about North Korea firing nuclear weapons from their own shores, but now they might be looking to expand their reach. In recent weeks, North Korea has been test firing several short-range missiles, but now new images from the group Beyond Parallel seem to show a new development, step toward the ability to mount a sea-based attack. Now, by themselves, these pictures might not make any sense, but ABC's chief global affairs correspondent Martha Raddatz says they tell an alarming story.
Analysts are looking at those images, and what they see is evidence that a brand new ballistic missile submarine is being constructed. And then there are all these images next to that show a crane and these support vessels, and that suggests that a submarine-launched missile is being readied to test.
What is the significance of that?
You know the term, the nuclear triad. So that's air, land, and sea. The U.S. has a nuclear triad. This would add another leg to North Korea's nuclear capability.
Like the way they can get you.
Another way they can get you.
But Martha says the most important thing to remember here is just how far away we are from summits, from denuclearization. If anything, North Korea appears to be going even farther than before. We'll break this all down on Start Here later this morning. Listen on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcasting app. Janae, Kenneth?
All right, thanks to Brad. The FBI is reportedly investigating 2 cameras that were broken outside the jail cell where Jeffrey Epstein died. Reuters reports the cameras were within view of the cell where the accused child molester's body was found. Epstein's attorneys told a judge this week they're skeptical that he died by suicide. They say he was not in despair before his death.
A surprise resignation in the Senate. Republican Johnny Isakson of Georgia says he will retire later this year because of health problems. The move could provide an inroad for Democrats trying to take back control of the Senate.
A voting machine glitch was caught on video in Mississippi. Look at this. That man trying to cast a ballot in Tuesday's GOP runoff primary for governor saw his intended vote change more than a dozen times. You see that? Touchscreen malfunctions were reported in 7 counties.
Smoking weed in New York State is now a fine-only offense. That's after a new decriminalization law went into effect on Wednesday. The penalty is now $50 for possessing less than an ounce or a maximum of $200 for 1 to 2 ounces. Meanwhile, residents who have low-level marijuana convictions will automatically have their records expunged.
The U.S. has sent a team of firefighting experts to Bolivia to help crews on the fire lines there in the Amazon. A shipment of protective equipment and firefighting tools has also been sent. In the meantime, Brazil is accepting some international help to battle fires in the Amazon. Brazil's president says 4 planes from Chile will be used to help fight the fires.
A young climate change activist from Sweden has made an environmentally friendly arrival in New York City.
16-year-old Greta Thunberg docked in New York Harbor yesterday after a 2-week transatlantic trip on a sailboat. She refused to fly because of the carbon emissions produced by airplanes. Greta is in New York for next month's United Nations Climate Action Summit, and she's hoping her trip will send a message to one important attendee.
All of this is very overwhelming, and the ground is still shaking for me. Everyone always asks me about Donald Trump, but I mean, my message for him is just listen to the science.
Greta used a zero-emissions sailboat. Its onboard electronics are powered by solar panels and underwater turbines.
Very cool. Well, coming up, an explosive eruption in Italy.
We'll go across the pond for the story behind the terrifying images.
But first, the urgent warning from a major American city to stop vaping immediately. A new concern over lung disease after this.
Welcome back. We turn now to the urgent warning from one major city to stop using all e-cigarette devices immediately. It comes after more than a dozen people came down with a severe lung disease. Each patient reported vaping before their health declined. This morning, the city of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, with an urgent warning. Stop vaping immediately. The alert comes after 16 people who use e-cigarettes were hospitalized with chemical pneumonia.
After 2 people, we should probably have sent out word sooner. But I'm glad we're doing it now.
Patients range from teenagers to people in their 30s. Kim Barnes' 26-year-old son, Dylan, is among them. She says he had been vaping for less than a year and almost died this month.
I didn't think he was going to come out of it. I thought that I was seeing my son the last time.
This warning comes just days after officials in Illinois announced the first death believed to be related to the e-cigarette use. The CDC is now investigating nearly 200 cases of severe pulmonary illnesses linked to vaping in 22 states. Milwaukee's health department says it's unclear exactly what is sending people to the hospital. Store managers are criticizing the city for issuing the alert without knowing the cause of the illnesses.
What will that do to your business if you see people stop using vaping products and e-cigarettes?
Business will start crashing down. I understand citizens are going to say, and business owners, hey, this is a legal product. I can sell it. And they can. But I think the health commissioner has to take it a higher level.
Doctors say the potential culprits aren't just vaping products and e-cigarettes, but also marijuana oils.
They're not really sure if it's vape products that are legal to sell here or THC products that people get off the streets. That's part of it, and buyer beware. But you don't know if those products get into a regular store either. And I'd be very hesitant about taking that gamble.
And now there are concerns about secondhand vaping fumes. A new study found about 1/3 of middle and high school students have been exposed to vaping aerosols in the last year.
Well, critics of British Prime Minister Boris Johnson are enraged now that the Queen has agreed to Johnson's request to suspend Britain's parliament. Let's head over to the London Bureau across the pond where Bruno Rober is standing by. And Bruno, this has to do with the no-deal Brexit, the deadline to get out of Brexit. We can't stop talking about Brexit.
Well, I mean, I think the headline is that there's actually something to talk about that's interesting when it comes to Brexit. So, yes, as you say, on the 31st of October, the UK is meant to be leaving the European Union with or without a deal, according to the new Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Now, as you say, he went to the Queen and said, can you suspend Parliament? She has to do that. It isn't actually within her purview. It's a sort of procedural thing. And he's saying that they're doing this just so he can concentrate on the domestic agenda. Now, Parliament was meant to go into recess anyway because of the party conference season. It's been extended slightly, but this, as you say, has invoked fury amongst Remain and no-deal Brexiteers who are saying this is just a mechanism for trying to reduce the amount of time that we're able to debate Brexit, which I think is largely true, frankly. And as one of our analysts, our very own Alistair Bruce, said yesterday, it's the Constitution is about how power works, and politics is about how power is used. And I think clearly we're seeing a politics going on here.
Yes, definitely. And in Italy, Bruno, we saw a volcano blow its top, and it was spectacular.
Oh, amazing, amazing. This is a volcanic island called Stromboli, which actually has, look at that, incredible scenes. It has the only constantly active volcano in Europe. Now, I actually visited there some time ago. You can actually walk right up to the top of the volcano and look down into the crater, but it's quite dangerous, and people have died doing just that. As you can see, it's surprising that no one was hurt seriously in this explosion, but quite extraordinary images.
Wow. And on a lighter note, Prince Harry, Duchess Meghan were spotted out with baby Archie at a pub, just like the commoners like us.
Well, indeed, indeed. They've been getting a lot of stick because they've been in a lot of hot water, because despite proselytizing about climate change and how we should be more environmentally conscious, they've taken no less than 3 private jets to various exotic locations over the summer. So this is them coming back down to earth. They were spotted at the Rose and Crown in Berkshire, not far from their house in Frognall Cottage in Windsor. They had a pub lunch. I think it was $20 each. And Prince Harry had a couple of pints to accompany the Sunday lunch he had there, and Archie was there in attendance, and apparently he was good as gold.
Okay, there you go. Hey, Bruno. Hey, thanks so much. We appreciate it. Hey, let's check our notifications now.
Starting with Southern California Police Department's recruitment tactics that are generating more than a few extra looks.
Officer Jake Waste is featured on the Upland Police Department Facebook page in a recruiting post. His tattooed look has generated more than 1,100 likes, loves, or wows, and 1,400 comments, mostly by women. The officer has received more than a few calls from admirers looking to be his partner.
I wake up and my phone is just blowing up. In the game of recruitment, all attention is good attention. We certainly weren't expecting this.
Officer Waste's boss wants to emphasize the department is actually hiring. He said they're looking for a new type of officer.
Yeah, lots of women commenting on that post. And some people find music in just about anything, including construction noise like this. Okay, so one Reddit user remixed it. Take a listen.
Oh, yeah.
We like.
I heard the construction workers really like it, too.
Yeah.
They jam to it while they work. All right, and this is wild. Watch this dog there. A doggy daredevil, some would say. Catch some air on a dirt bike. Wait for it. Wait for it. That dog must be like, wait, I didn't sign up for this.
Wow.
Yeah. There you go.
And a New Hampshire woman has been ordered to surrender her license plate, saying it's inappropriate. Look at this. It says PB4, we go. Sounds like a smart mom. Some are pointing to the state motto on top there. It's New Hampshire, and it says, live free or die.
So why are you trying to take away my free speech here on the vanity plate?
Right.
So what do you think? That's our question of the day. Is this too inappropriate to be on a license plate, or does she have the right to keep it?
And is it perfect? I think so. Let us know in the comments or tweet us at ABC News Live.
Well, coming up, the day Star Wars fans have been waiting for.
We'll give you a sneak peek of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disney World in Orlando.
And we've got everything you need to watch out for today and a look back at a special anniversary after this. Here's what to watch out for today. Hurricane Dorian is gaining strength as it heads toward Florida, where it could be a major Cat 3 hurricane. Florida's governor is warning residents to make sure they have 7 days of supplies if they plan to ride out the storm at home.
President Trump is set to officially launch the U.S. Space Command, the military's 11th Unified Combatant Command. It will coordinate how the military operates in outer space, but this is not Space Force, which would be a totally new military service and has not yet been approved by Congress.
The Republican governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, is set to meet with lawmakers in El Paso to discuss potential new laws in the wake of the mass shooting there. He raised concerns about private gun sales last week, but has been non-committal about new firearm restrictions. Labor Day is just about here, and that means the last major travel day of the summer. Expect driving times to rise 10% this weekend. The worst time to be on the road is expected to be this afternoon between 4 and 6 p.m.
Plus, don't forget to tune in to The Debrief for an update on all our top stories in the briefing room. A breakdown of the latest headlines in politics.
And it was exactly 5 years ago yesterday that this happened.
President Obama roasted over wearing that tan suit in a White House news conference. That suit ignited a firestorm of controversy, with critics saying it signified a lack of authority.
Reporters and commentators completely lost their minds, coining puns like "yes, we tan" and the audacity of taupe.
So good. Even GQ weighed in, calling the suit terrible, and Esquire labeling it a monstrosity. 5 years ago, that's what had us in a
tizzy.
Yeah.
Talking.
How far we've come. Well, this morning we are transporting ourselves to a galaxy far, far away, known to many as Florida.
Orlando, to be exact, ahead of today's highly anticipated public opening of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge from our parent company, Disney. And ABC's Will Reeve got a sneak peek.
These 5 military families sacrifice so much to help serve our country, so Disney is serving them, surprising them with something that's truly out of this galaxy. A preview of the new Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Walt Disney World in Orlando before it opens to the public.
Hey, look, there's the X-Wing. That's pretty awesome. Look at this, dude.
Our family's given a hero's welcome by the chairman of Disney Parks, Bob Chapek.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
And of course, the big guy.
Are you going to be my co-pilot? Yeah. All right.
We head straight to Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run.
This is cool. Wow. Buckle up. Whoa, we're in space. Whoa! Get us straight. Get us straight. Get us straight. There's meteorites everywhere.
With our feet safely back on the ground, we swing by Savi's workshop.
Ready to build some lightsabers here? Ho, 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 ho.
And at the Droid Depot, our families get busy building their own R2 and BB units.
It's a real assembly, huh?
It is. Dad didn't know he was going to work here now.
It didn't.
I make one of my own and realize these things are durable.
You're going in a bag.
And apparently they tend to make Wookiees rather annoyed. Like in this scene from A New Hope.
Hey, Chewie! How's it going? I want to show you something I'm pretty proud of. We built droids. Oh, yeah, right. Sorry. Forgot about that.
To top off the day, we grab some grub at Docking Bay 7.
It's delicious.
Including these tasty cream puffs.
Is awesome.
And I grab a drink and a cookie at Oga's Cantina, along with my new little buddy. The droid politely declined.
Wow, quite an attraction there.
Absolutely, in our old stomping grounds of Orlando. Be safe out there, Central Florida.
That's it for us.
See you tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday.
Have a good one.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.